All right, peace and blessings, family. Thank you so much for tuning in to a Kevlon Uni Alliance channel. And today, topic of discussion will be parents, stop putting your responsibility on the teachers. Parents, stop putting your responsibilities on the teachers. I'm speaking specifically to those who are African. We are the ones that is responsible for our children's education as it relates to our history. And not only that, we should have already been training our children before they even went to class. I recall when I was younger, my mother, she used to allow me to watch Sesame Street, and she taught me how to count, and I learned how to count on it. My mother taught me how to read. My mother taught me how to write. My mother took that responsibility upon herself as my parent to ensure that I was savvy to all what I aforementioned. Now, it's not the teacher's job to teach your children how to conduct themselves. Prior to me even leaving out of my home, my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather taught me proper manners. In fact, my grandfather taught me how to treat a woman. Now, I'm not saying that if your child is unruly, it's because you haven't instilled it in them to be respectful, because I fully understand that your child or your children are left with a choice to do or not do what you have taught them. I'm talking about the complaints I hear from those of us who are African, that they don't teach our children our history. What do you expect, brother and sister, from a racist, systemic culture? It is your responsibility to research our history and for you to educate your child and your children. See, our problem is we take the crumbs that we allow the Europeans to throw us, like Black History Month, for example. I don't believe in Black History Month. You can be upset all you want. It really doesn't matter to me. First of all, we're not Black. Now, I know sometimes I say that too, out of habit. So I'm not going to knock those who are working on changing the terminologies that we label ourselves. And it's also arguable amongst some about Africa being named after Scipio Africanus and what have you. Now, I do know I'm Asante and I'm Bantu. I do know that. Okay. But with that being said, it is our responsibility to educate our children. The American flag is not our flag. Look at the historicity of when the flag was even implemented. And I'm pulling it up here for you real quick. The historicity of it to give you the year. Now, the flag allegedly was made in 1777. Now, how in the world can you claim a flag that was made in a year during the time that we were enslaved? And not only that, the last time I checked, I'm talking about a country that is not colonized, okay, in Africa, or either was, but they were liberated and they created their own flag. That's our flag. whatever soever country you know you come from, if you know exactly what people you come from. Okay. And I'm gonna just say this overall. If you don't know that, then just simply claim the RBG flag. For those who don't know, that is the red, black, and green flag, which is all encompassing of all of us. That's your flag. The United States of America flag isn't your flag. And for those of you who claim that you're brainwashed, I'm just telling you in love. I have to speak the facts to you so it can help transform your mind. If a Chinese person was born in Africa, that would not make them Zulu or Bantu. So we were born here by default. We are African, period. I'm gonna just say for myself, I'm Bantu. I'm not a Bantu. No, that's what I am. You know, and I myself personally are, rather not are, but am, you know, relinquishing a lot of titles as well. Even when I do, I don't do other, even on like when you do the censuses and what have you, you know, I don't do other. I just put exactly what my bloodline is, our family, Bantu or Asante, you know, things of that nature, you know. And of course, you may say, well, what does this have to do with parenting? It's because we are the ones supposed to instill our culture in our children. And if you don't know your culture, why not? And the problem is we're waiting for them to teach us about us when they were the ones who enslaved us. So why would the one who enslaved you teach you to be liberated in your mind? Give you any information that's going to set your mind free when they themselves lie about themselves. So why would they tell you what's factual about you when they lie about themselves and they call themselves the Cometians? Knowing good and doggone well, they're not Cushites. And what are you talking about, brother? Well, on the movies, when they present themselves to be, you know, the so-called modern day term today, Egyptians. That's what I'm talking about. And also when they whitewash, if you will, or European wash rather, the queens of Kemet. That's what I'm talking about. Some of you probably seen it on the news, that statue where the woman, she looked like, you know, she's a Caucasian woman. Come on, man. They want to be us so bad. And we don't even pay attention to that. Do you not know, even over in China right now, they got the hairstyles of African descent? They got hairstyles over there now with the fro and with dreads. Yes, 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 they have that going on over there. They're trying to be like us while we hate us. Even with these rims that they have on their cars, we started that movement, man. And that's the bottom line. What am I trying to say? What I'm saying is we need to teach our children to be proud of who they are. I never forget, I heard a woman say when I was in class that she told her daughter not to have natural hair because they, which we know who they are, the Europeans, wouldn't hire her, or she wouldn't name her a name of African origin so that she could get hired. See, you know, we put ourselves in these situations. We put ourselves at the mercy of the races. We do that. We believe the lies that we can, and we have all type of data to prove to us that we can. We are architecturally capable of building structures that can last an extensive period of time. And if the pyramids is not enough, which at this time, I'm going to refrain trying to name the actual proper name of the pyramid, because I did learn that from Anthony Browder, who came on the program as well. The video is on my page, on my Facebook page. When he came on the program, because he did an event in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to bring him on the program so he could speak for a moment about the upcoming program that he was doing in Atlanta, Georgia, that just recently passed. Okay. And so, he gave me the proper name of what the actual structure is. So please forgive me for it escaping my memory, but I do promise you I will get back with you on the actual proper name from what he had stated. But nevertheless, though, that's just proof that we are capable of doing these things. We are capable of being good entrepreneurs. I mean, Madam C.J. Walker. I mean, look at Tulsa, Oklahoma. As we know it, a lot of people like to call that particular place Black Wall Street. The community was titled Greenwood. Okay, and also you had even Rosewood that was unfortunately overthrown by races as well. That was a thriving community. In fact, I will have you to know, if you check your history, that even Chicago and New York City, there was numerous so-called Black Wall Streets, okay? So we had a lot of thriving communities, okay? So listen, they had less access to resources than we have today, and they were capable of doing it. Madam C.J. Walker became a millionaire during a time where it was nowhere near as it is today. We have minuscule liberties today, but back then, my goodness, it was worse than what it is now. And they were able to do it. See, the truth of the matter is, we got to have confidence. Imani, one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, we have to have confidence. We have to have faith in us and what we're capable of doing. And parents, that start with us. Stop allowing your children to stand up and salute a flag that was created during the time that we were enslaved. And you call it our flag. First and foremost, you got to work on yourself. And it's your responsibility to find out our history. And I'm challenging all of you that are parents out there that are listening to me. It is your responsibility for you to find out our culture. Yes, you owe that to yourself and your children and your grandchildren. Even if you don't have any grandchildren yet, or you may not have a child yet. And you may be a godparent that is of still African, all right? That is African. You may have a godchild. I think that's still, you having the position of a parent, because, last time I checked, the godparents, like in Ifa, spiritual, that's a godparent that I know where it comes from, Ifa. They have, your godparents and what have you, right? So anyway, it's your responsibility for you to raise up your child in a way that he or she should go. Stop allowing the system to raise your child. And what I'm talking about is the hip hoppers, the gangster rappers, all right? The Cardi B's, okay? These gangster rappers are no examples for our young men. Even though some of them, may, have, changed, their ways, I would say then you allow them to listen to them, but now they still rapping gangster rap. Okay, don't misunderstand me. Okay, if their minds are transformed and they're on the right path, I was going to say a person's name, but I'm not going to do that because I watched that program that was put out there, and he had some stuff on that program on Netflix, okay, that I would not recommend. you understand? Definitely not for a younger audience. Definitely for more mature audience. What I seen, okay, and listen to them financially, yeah, but morally, nah. The moral compass, oh no. All right. So we got to have the discernment to be able to know, who to allow our child or children to be exposed to. And we have to stop allowing our children to listen to these lyrics that messes their minds up. Like SZA, you know, I'll be your woman only on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. Seriously? You know what I'm saying? But then we men, we get dogged out, you know, for calling, you know, our women female dogs. But, you know, how many people address SZA talking about she'll be his play toy on the weekend? Let's talk about that. All right. So it's the men and women who have issues. And then now these women walking around like they're, you know, going on a strip pole and stuff like that. I mean, think about that. Who wants their daughter, you know, and nobody in their right mind, you know, will want their daughter to walk around like that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? This is not the motherland where we're not exposed to modern day society. Okay. Now I can understand in that situation. All right. But even most women over in the motherland that have some morals to them and that live in modern day civilization do not dress that way. Okay. I've seen it with my own eyes. All right. Because a lot of people who I deal with are organically from there. Okay. You know, so when you look at the culture, you know, it's imperative for us to get a better understanding, because you could tell, I'm gonna be honest about it. Let me just keep it real. You know, you have a lot of people over there in the motherland trying to be like us over here. And that's a problem. Okay, because a lot of us been cut off from our culture, and a lot of them been raised in their culture. A lot of them, not all of them, of course, because of course, we all know that some countries over in the continent of the motherland have been colonized as well. So, you know, we still going from one brainwashed geographical location to another, depending upon the location, all right? And depending upon the people that are in that location. That's what it has a lot to do with. But nevertheless, though, you know, it's upon us to, you know, highlight these great accomplishments that our people have accomplished, okay? Such as George Washington Carver, you know, like Shirley Chisholm. You know, a lot of us think that, you know, Hillary Clinton was the first female to run for presidency, you know what I'm saying? But Shirley Chisholm ran for presidency years and years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, a lot of people talk about Barack Obama, but Jesse Jackson tried, you know, to run for presidency at one time. A lot of people don't talk about that either. You see what I'm saying? You know, so that's why it's good for us to, you know, find these things out about ourselves, you know, and also for our children to know that it was Benjamin Banneker that had designed, you know, the White House, you know, but yet the same ones standing in the White House will call us dumb, but the same facility that they are standing in, we created, and they know we did, but they don't want us to believe that we're intellectual. Why? Because if we know how powerful we are, then we would stop what? Depending upon them. Now, parents, that's why I say it's your responsibility. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, then brother and sister, I beseech of you, I beg of you, you know, for you to get confidence so that you can in turn raise your child and your children properly, so that they can have the self-confidence that they need. And so your grandchild won't grow up ignorantly and following after a system that is tailored towards enslaving us, not freeing us. But why would the one who enslaved you liberate you? That doesn't make any sense. Okay? You know, so it's your responsibility, parent, for you to raise your child and your children right. It's yours. And a lot of us are psychologically damaged. A lot of us are not even in a mental state of mind for us to raise our child and our children right. So let me be clear on that as well. And I do understand that. But what I'm saying to you is it's important for you to fix yourself so that way your home can be a wholesome atmosphere for your child or for your children. This is what I'm saying to you. If you're tired of being broke, then go find out how to make wealth. Yes, it's really, you know, I'm gonna just be honest about it. We really don't think that these situations that we call so difficult, we don't understand that really it's not as difficult as we think it is. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be a challenge to get yourself out of poverty. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying to you is, you know, the only thing you have to do is learn the right information financially and to implement that information. And you'll find out it will transform your situation. It will transform your life. This is what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you that education starts at home. That's what I'm telling you. And it's important for you to find out your culture so your child can have a sense of pride in who they are. I mean, you celebrate Memorial Day have nothing to do with us. Oh, my granddaddy fought in the wars, my grandparents. Listen, man, I'm a retired Marine, so I can talk. I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. Okay. And let me tell you something. Most of our ancestors, they weren't fighting our battle. Okay. Civil rights was our fight. Okay. That's the only, I can say that's the only war that we really fought that was for us. Okay. Those other battles that our ancestors was involved in, okay, listen, those Caucasian people was not fighting to liberate us. You need to check your history about these wars, like the Civil War stuff. You need to check your history on that stuff. They was not fighting, you know what I'm saying, to set the slaves free. It was over resources. Okay? And our ancestors died for what? They were still slaves. And yes, they went to go fight. Oh, you know, if you fight these wars, man, listen, man, that's all the European, most of them do is lie. Just like when they came back from the Vietnam War, they still got treated like trash and thrown away. So for those of you who think that because, you know, you talk Caucasian, you dress Caucasian, huh? Yeah, you're going to find out real soon that they're just using you to get what they want out of you, and that's money. You mad what? Yeah, that's right. They use your credentialing, your intelligence to help them make more money, but they really don't care nothing about you. They just use you to be able to say, hey, look, we're not racist. Look, we have, okay, you got a speckle like a doggone spot on a Dalmatian dog. How many of us are a part of their businesses? We're like speckles, just to keep them out of the equal opportunity light. We got to start teaching our children to stop going to them for handouts, all right, and crumbs, and start creating our own. This is the only way we're going to be liberated. You can say whatever you want to say. And so, oh, you know, you never be free in this country. Yes, you can be free. You know, well, you know, you still subject to these laws. Listen, man. Listen, it's a difference between they do under the table type of things when you have already had something in place, but they always try to find their way around laws that's already written. It's a difference between something not being written at all and them, you know, totally disregarding it. Okay. They truly don't, racists don't believe, you know what I'm saying, in liberty and justice for all. And when they say it, that means liberty and justice for us. All of us. And you're just for you killing these so-called niggas. That's the way they think. It's okay. These people mentally ill. And what does that do, parenting? Because we praise them. We don't name our children cultural names. We don't allow them to do their hair a certain way. We tell them to dress a certain way, unbeknownst to a lot of us, you know, that we're actually training them to be like a European, and even us. We want to talk, we think, and if some of us don't even act that way, then it's a problem with you, and you're African. One day you're going to wake up and understand that that's what you are. You're not a European. I don't care how well spoken you are. I don't care how many Armani suits you wear, Gucci suits, and what Benz and what neighborhood you drive. You'll never be European because you're not. You cannot be something that you're not. You're just an imitator. You're a faker. You're a wannabe. And why do you want to be like the ones who raped and killed and hung your ancestors? They cut us off from our culture, but you want to be like them. What makes you think they're so good? You don't even talk your own language. You don't even know. Some of you don't even know what people you come from. But you praise them like they so more. Where's their moral compass at? They kill more people than any Blood or Crip has ever killed. It is a historical fact. They gangbanged all over the world. But you look at them and praise them like they somebody you should be looking up to. When they stripped our people of our culture, made our ancestors work for free, but you praise them like they somebody for you to look up to. Oh, yeah, yes, Mr. White Man. Yes, Mrs. White Man. Yes, 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 sir. And it's the same ones who tell you that you can't wear your hair a certain way. You can't, but it's okay for you to dress like them and wear your hair like them and talk like them. But you too foolish and you too psychotic for you to deal with it. Psychotic, psychosis, yes. Meaning you refuse to face reality. Trying to wash off your melanin, your beautiful melanin, because you want to be like them. For what? Why? You want to be like people who make people work for free? You want to be like somebody who bombed your ancestors in a church? You want to be like somebody who hung your ancestors from a tree, who took you from over, our ancestors from over in our continent and took us away from all our resources and made us work for free and won't even pay us back for what we did? They stole our land. Do you understand? Some of you have indigenous blood and you just like me, who my great-great-grandmother was so-called Cherokee. And they killed our ancestors. But you want to be like them so bad. They put us all in the same area codes and poison our water, but you want to be like them so bad. They killed Trayvon Martin. They killed Alton Sterling. They killed Emmett Till. But you want to be like them so bad. Call our country a shithole, but you want to be like them so bad. Will keep you from getting along because the way you look, you don't want to deal with that though. You think because you got a high credit score, oh, you so much better now, right? And then you pass that foolishness on to your children, and then they walk around with their nose stuck up in the air at children who are living in bad conditions. Negro, please, you still are one of us. And I'm not ashamed at all to be of African descent. Not at all. And I never had one to be like them. I promise you that. I can say that without lying. You need to instill the pride of who you are in your child and your children. That's your responsibility. Because the truth of the matter is, nothing else in the curriculum messes them up more than history. Think about it. Mathematics don't mess you up. Okay? It's the imagery that they get of themselves in social studies, and then they're being taught to praise these racist leaders that they had in this country, like George Washington. All those presidents were presidents during the time of slavery. Roosevelt, all of them were. Eisenhower. Come on, man. Really? And we got the audacity to call Bill Clinton the first black president, the first, man, please. He's not African. He's Caucasian, period. The first one was President Obama, whose daddy was born over in Africa. That was our president. Although a lot of us don't feel like he did a very good job at what he did when he was in position for us, you know, which I won't disagree with that. Okay. Still the fact that, you know, he still is our people. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I was very upset with him too about what happened with Trayvon Martin. I'll be honest about that. But it's still our responsibility to instill our pride of our culture within our child or within our children. That's us. That's what we're supposed to do. So let us start taking ownership of that. You know, we're supposed to put, you know, manners within we're supposed to instill that in our children. We're supposed to do that. Okay, it's like you looking at the teacher saying, "Are you gonna feed my child? You know, are you gonna put clothes on my child? Are you gonna put a roof on my child?" Why do you know that teacher look at you like you crazy? Why? Because it's your responsibility. Same situation. That's your responsibility to teach your child and your children their culture. And I pray that you, parent, who don't have a sense of pride in who you are, that you will gain a sense of pride in who you are. And you start instilling that in your children. Start doing your research. Look up Black inventors, because unfortunately, that's what we've been called, Black. You know, I don't receive the label, but you know what I'm saying? You got, you know, Google that. Because African inventors more likely will give you literally people that, you know, are in the continent of Africa. You know what I'm saying? So you could Google both, try it. You know what I'm saying? Look it up. And then, you know, take that information and instill it into your children. Because listen, there's more to it also than just dressing like an African and knowing, you know, what we invented. You know what I'm saying? It's about a mindset. It's about you living a certain way. That's why it's important for us to embrace our culture, embrace our spirituality. Because for some of you, you're Christian and you're just living by a bunch of opinions. You're living by a bunch of opinions that you call God's word. Okay, even Paul said, "I say not the Lord." So being that he said it, not the Lord, that means that his opinion was written in the book, which means that all scripture couldn't be given by the inspiration of God. But you continue to teach your children those lies. You continue to tell them, don't lean to their own understanding, when the creator, Olodumare, gave them, you know, intellect for them to use their mind, the wisdom to use. You got them standing up and saluting a flag, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't even stand for liberty and justice for all. They're a bunch of hypocrites. So parents, it's upon you to learn economics. I don't know about investing. Well, learn and then teach your children. I don't know about real estate, investing in real estate. Well, learn and then teach your children. I don't know where I come from. Well, find out and then teach your children. Bottom line, parents, is your responsibility, not the teachers. Peace, love, and power. Peace.